Sure, here is some data and statistics that shows India was at the top of the world in 1947 and now at the bottom of the world in a number of industries. Agriculture. In 1947, India was the world's leading producer of jute, cotton, and indigo. It was also a major producer of tea, spices, and wheat. However, India's ranking in agricultural production has declined significantly in recent decades. In 2022, India was the world's second largest producer of wheat, third largest producer of rice, and fifth largest producer of cotton. Jute. In 1947, India was the world's leading producer of jute. However, India's share of global jute production has declined from 90% in 1947 to 30% in 2022. Cotton. In 1947, India was the world's leading producer of cotton. However, India's share of global cotton production has declined from 25% in 1947 to 8% in 2022. Indigo. In 1947, India was the world's leading producer of indigo. However, indigo production in India has declined significantly since then, and India is no longer a major producer of indigo. Tea. In 1947, India was the world's leading producer of tea. However, India's share of global tea production has declined from 40% in 1947 to 26% in 2022. Spices. In 1947, India was a major producer of spices. However, India's share of global spice production has declined from 40% in 1947 to 20% in 2022. Iron and steel production. In 1947, India was the world's fourth largest producer of iron and steel. However, India's ranking in iron and steel production has declined significantly in recent decades. In 2022, India was the world's 12th largest producer of iron and steel. Manufacturing. In 1947, India was a major manufacturing country. However, India's share of global manufacturing output has declined from 2% in 1947 to 1% in 2022. Education. In 1947, India had a high literacy rate for a developing country. However, India's ranking in education has declined significantly in recent decades. In 2022, India ranks 115th out of 188 countries in the UN's Human Development Index (HDI). Healthcare. In 1947, India had a relatively good healthcare system for a developing country. However, India's ranking in healthcare has declined significantly in recent decades. In 2022, India ranks 145th out of 195 countries in the World Health Organization's WHO World Health Report. These are just a few examples of how India's ranking in a number of industries has declined since 1947. There are a number of factors that have contributed to this decline, including rapid population growth, economic policies that have not always been conducive to development, and political instability. However, there are also signs that India is starting to turn things around. The government has made some investments in education and healthcare, and there is a growing awareness of the importance of these sectors. If India can address the underlying causes of the decline, it has the potential to regain its position at the top of the world in these sectors. India was indeed at the top of the world in many sectors in 1947, including agriculture, textiles, iron and steel production, indigo, spices, tea, and jute. However, its ranking has declined significantly in recent decades, particularly in healthcare and education. There are a number of reasons for this decline. One is the rapid population growth in India, which has put a strain on resources and made it difficult to provide quality healthcare and education to everyone. Another reason is the growing inequality in India, which has meant that the rich have access to better healthcare and education than the poor. In addition, India's economic policies have not always been conducive to development in these sectors. For example, the government's focus on industrialization in the 1950s and 1960s led to neglect of agriculture, which is still a major source of employment for Indians. Finally, India's political instability has also contributed to the decline in its ranking in these sectors. Frequent changes in government have made it difficult to implement long-term plans for development, and corruption has also been a major problem. There are signs that India is starting to turn things around. The government has made some investments in healthcare and education, and there is a growing awareness of the importance of these sectors. However, there is still a long way to go, and India will need to address the underlying causes of the decline if it wants to regain its position at the top of the world in these sectors. Here are some specific examples of how India's ranking has declined in healthcare and education. In healthcare, India ranks 145th out of 195 countries in the World Health Organization's WHO World Health Report 2022. In education, India ranks 115th out of 188 countries in the UN's Human Development Index (HDI). The reasons for the decline in India's ranking in these sectors are complex and interrelated. However, some of the key factors include: lack of investment in healthcare and education, inequalities in access to healthcare and education, poor quality of healthcare and education, political instability. There are a number of things that India can do to improve its ranking in healthcare and education. These include increasing investment in healthcare and education, addressing inequalities in access to healthcare and education, improving the quality of healthcare and education, stabilizing the political situation.